Hi guys, welcome to our team Zoom. We are thrilled tonight to have a special guest with us. This is my sweet friend and sideline sister, Ryan Prouty. Welcome, Ryan. Ryan's a senior Ruby ambassador, and she's taken time out of her busy schedule before she hosts a meeting with her own team to come and just share some new insight and new information with our team. So I just appreciate her so much for taking the time to do that. For those of you that don't already know, Ryan and I did not know each other until maybe like a year ago.
Yeah, I think I'd seen your name, but I think we officially met at Leaders Retreat.
Yes, but yeah, I think that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier this year, another Ruby sister, we're all on the same blessed team, but none of us are on the same team. We all have different leaders. A bunch of us, is there 7 of us now?
We started with 9. There's probably 7 active.
I think so. So the 7 of us have stuck together for about a year, just being support systems, inspiration, bouncing ideas off of one another, sharing new things we learn. We just stay in contact through a Facebook Messenger chat. We probably have a conversation almost every day in some way or another. Sometimes it's just to make one another laugh, which we do a lot. But I just can't tell you enough what a great thing that has been personally, and I know all of us feel the same way because we've all expressed it. Just to be running with these people that are at the same place that we are, going for the same goal. We are not competing in any way at all. We are cheering one another on. Anything we learn that we think would help the others, we share it. We're helping to train our teams together. We've got some new stuff coming up together, and it has just been the biggest blessing for me as far as friendships, my business, everything. So I highly encourage you guys to find some sideline friends to run with, because if you all have different leadership, you all have different information coming in and learning different things and sharing with that with each other. And it's been amazing. So that's how we have been blessed enough to have Ryan join us tonight, because of that relationship I have with her. So anyway, Ryan, if you'll just kind of tell the team your story, a little background, we'll just go from there.
Sounds awesome. And before I do that, I agree with you 100%, you guys. I've gotten more out of this Ruby team and working across my sidelines than any coaching from any upline or Jewel or anywhere else. It's this peer support group has been huge for all of us. So anyway, I'll just put kudos in for that one too. So a little bit about me. As Brandy said, my name is Ryan, and I actually live just south of Houston, in a little town called League City, Texas. I am a wife. I'm a mother of 2, 13 and 10. I am a sensei in the martial arts, which means it's their fancy way to say teacher. But I'm also a manager in the International Space Station program for NASA. So I had all of that on my plate, and then I'm a health nut. I'm a foodie. I'm an adventurer. I love movies. I love football, reading, knitting. I just was all over the map. And I did all this, and I added Plexus. And I thought when I started taking Plexus, there is no way on this green earth that there was time in my day to go work another job. I did not need another job. Forget it. No way, no how. I had all of that going on. Plus I had this big dream to go be a professional life coach. And so I was working on my plans to go get that certification. But then I started feeling a whole lot better. And I'll talk about my health in a little bit, but I saw the possibility. I saw my friends just turning their lives upside down with this opportunity that we have with Plexus. And I make good money. My husband makes good money. But at the end of the day, I still work for the government. He still works on a government contract. And so while the space business has a lot of congressional support, we are still at the whim of our congressman and the taxpayer. And President Bush canceled Space Shuttle. President Obama canceled the Constellation program. We made it through both of those, but life is different now. And we're looking at a change in administration here in the next couple months, and we don't know what's going to happen. So I stopped and I dared to ask, what if it could be different? And that's the key in all of this, right? Being willing to ask yourself the question, what if it could be different? What if? Plex's little byline, my favorite thing from Leaders Retreat last year was the fact that they trademarked, what if this could change everything? Because that's what it was for me. All of a sudden I thought, oh my gosh, I don't have to be a 9-to-5 government employee until I'm into my 70s, depending on how the economy goes and how much I've saved up. I have an opportunity to do something a little bit more. And what I had a hard time wrapping my mind around is I absolutely love my NASA job. It is just freaking cool to get to do what I do. I love being a part of something that's bigger than myself with people who share a passion for what they do. But guess what? That's what we do with Plexus too. Plexus affords me the confidence that no matter what happens with Congress, with the national budget profile, with anything of that, I still get to work with people who are passionate, people who are driven, people who are chasing dreams to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And so when I looked at it from at NASA, we call it the 10,000 foot level. When you look at it on that level, it's the same thing. It's just getting to work around passionate people. My health story is fairly simple. I decided I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was one of those, I'll call it hidden sick people. I didn't look sick to anybody else but me. I didn't look tired, but good Lord, did I feel like I had this weight sitting on my shoulders every day. Horrible headaches, skin blemishes, dry hair, all that kind of stuff. Literally falling asleep on the floor outside my kids' bedrooms while they get ready for bed. They're brushing their teeth. I'm asleep on their floor. Couldn't handle it. 8:30 at night. That's all gone. My husband calls it my pre-plexus days. He doesn't ever want me to go back there. I'm a much more enjoyable, relaxed, fun person. I'm a much better mother and wife, and so I'm never, ever going back. But so that's a little bit about my story and why I do what I do. But today, Brandy and I we were chatting before the Zoom started, and it sounds like a lot of you are in the same, I'll say, time of year that we are down here. School just started for us yesterday. And so I wanted to talk about transition times, or times when things can get slow in your business, when you may be distracted, when you may feel unmotivated, and what I do to kind of get myself out of that rut. It happens to everybody. And a lot of the times, and this is totally my philosophy, by the way, I'm very transparent, so you might hear something different from me than you hear from somebody else. Just take it for what it is. It's just my opinion. I think the reason that we don't hear more often from Jules about when things are slow or when things are down or when you're not being productive is because they've done it, but they know it's not a good place to be. So they don't like to talk about it because they don't want anybody there, right? You got to stay positive. You got to be productive. You need to be on top of things. And we're not going to talk about that there's a slump, because maybe if you don't talk about it, it's not really there. That's unrealistic. It's there. That's life. Life ebbs and flows. And we all have times when we are on point and everything's growing great and we're running. And then there are times where it slows down. Life happens. And the difference in those times and how you come out of it, whether you continue to grow, whether you stay positive even though things are going slow, maybe there's not a lot of engagement on the team, the difference in who we are and who we're going to be as we come through this journey is how we deal with those times. How are you investing in yourself? How are you engaging in your own self-development? This is a great time to pick up a book and start pouring into you. How often are you reviewing your why? What action on those days, even when you don't feel like doing anything, you have that customer who's struggling, you see a text come in and you're like, oh, not today. My kid forgot their lunch and I got all these paperwork to fill out or whatever it is. How are you dealing with those? How are you dealing with those times? It's a classic time of year where a lot of our business slows down. And if you think about it, it really makes sense with the summer vacations ending, with the kids getting back to school. It's a time where we all kind of take a step back. Instead of being head down and focused inward, all of a sudden we're focused outward and we're thinking about what's going on with everybody else, and we forget to take care of us. We forget to get our own stuff done. And so here's the key. It's a matter of how you're made and how you spend your time, and how bad do you want it? How bad do you want your why when you're tired, when your family is stressed, when you have to help your kids with their homework, when you're trying to figure out your new schedule? What are you going to do for you to keep moving forward? It may be, and I'll be completely honest, this is me this week. It may be what I need to do for me is I need to slow down. I need to do some yoga in the mornings. I'm feeling a whole lot of pressure with stuff that I have going on at NASA work, how my team is doing, and getting my kids back to school. I need to take 10 minutes in the morning just for me to do nothing. Not 10 minutes to pour into my Facebook and look at my posts and figure out what I'm going to do with my IPA. I need 10 minutes for me. I need 10 minutes to look at my dream board and think about my why. Is my why big enough? Is your why big enough? If it's not big enough to give you that push to do your activities that you need to do when times are tough, you need to think about your why and figure out what it is that will push you over that edge into action, because that's the trick. When things are slow and we're unmotivated and we can't figure out where to go, nobody, no cute quote, no video, no book, nothing will motivate you like action. You need to figure out how you are going to take action. And I don't care what the steps are, they just need to be in the direction of goodness and something that's helping you get back on your track and moving forward. And this is how I do it. When I've slowed down and I need to figure out how to get going, I am typically a very organized person. Brandy, don't laugh. The Rubies make fun of me for it. But when I'm at NASA work, I have a secretary and she schedules my day. I don't really get to vote. Okay, I do have some vote, but not a lot on how my day goes. And it is, 30-minute increments. It could be a different meeting in my office. It could be I have to go to a board meeting. It could be whatever. But it is, boom, 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 boom. I thrive in that kind of environment because I know what I'm supposed to go do and I have an action and I have to go do it. So I need to bring some of that home. My husband likes to make fun of me because he doesn't like me to come home in work mode. But sometimes I need my work mode here. And so I have a planner that I use, and I take it out and I make myself an action list. I make myself a to-do list. And if I've been in a slump, that to-do list has to be stupid easy and something that I can immediately start giving myself check marks for finishing off each box. I know that sounds silly and it sounds simple, but it works for me to get me off the dime, because when you let stuff, I'll say, add up, and now you've got this mountain of stuff you're supposed to go do, it can be daunting. So you got to break it down to the easiest possible, smallest little tasks that you can do, and just get started getting those check marks. And for me, then it becomes self-fulfilling. I'm like, oh, I got 2 check marks. Oh, I got 5 check marks. And that becomes more motivation for me to take more action. Action motivates action. So the more that you can get yourself into action, moving forward, that can be a trigger to help you then go tackle the big things that you really need to deal with. Maybe the stuff you don't like to deal with, but you need to deal with to get yourself back on track and back headed the direction you want to go. So for example, my team's been really quiet the end of the summer. We killed it in July. July was my second biggest month for my team ever. And we got to August and it's like crickets. Everybody's doing their end of summer vacations. Now everybody's going back to school. And so I spent August pouring into me. I have finished 2 different leadership books, and now I've done some strategic planning for my team headed into the end of the year, because I know it's going to pick up. I've seen this cycle before. I know the ebbs. I've been with this business long enough now that I've seen this ebb and flow a couple times, and I know it's coming. So instead of feeling down in the mouth and kind of stressed, as some people might be, I'm not, I think, oh, I'm expecting this. I know it's coming. I'm going to prepare for what's coming next. And so I pour into myself. I write down my action plan and I just start checking it off. Check marks make me happy. So those are my quick tips for kind of getting up and going again. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions you guys might have about anything.
I love that so much. A couple things I wanted you to tell the group. First of all, when did you start? Kind of just quickly your timeline.
Oh, I started taking the products in April 2 years ago, 2014. I did not start sharing or working this business until October, November that year.
Wow.
So I'm kind of, yeah. Oh, I'm serious. I was a closet plexus taker because I, again, didn't want, wasn't working the business.
Wow.
I was a little slow on the uptake.
Okay. I know that you are so great about reading books, just like you were saying, self-development. What would be your number one book recommendation? Or can you narrow it down to just one?
No.
That's okay, a few.
Okay, I'm going to give you a couple.
Okay.
This is my absolute favorite book. Jen Sincero. I don't know if you can see her. There's her name. Jen Sincero. I apologize for the language. If foul language offends you, do not go get this book. She's not PC, but she's outstanding. This book is about harnessing your own inner power that already exists.
Okay.
It is, there's a lot of books out there that go along the line of what you think about, you bring about. That's what this book is. Okay. Love that one. For anybody who went to convention, John Addison's book, Real Leadership, I didn't really expect to like this book. I'll be frank with you guys. I look at the cover, I'm like, oh, it's another white guy that's going to tell me how to do whatever I need to do. I have the biggest crush on this guy. This book is outstanding. Highly recommend reading it. Where Jensen Chero's book, I can't even say the title in front of everybody. Where Jensen Chero's book is more about your mindset and how you're thinking about what you're doing as an individual. This book focuses on how you treat other people and how you are a leader for other people. So kind of different takes there.
Okay.
I'll just leave it in. But this is here. Okay, I'll do one more. This is the one I'm doing right now. It's called 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do. And the author is, Amy Morin. Morin.
Mentally strong people don't do?
Yes. And I struggled with the title of this book because I am a strong believer in making positive statements all the time. And so when I pick up this title, I'm like, it's just going to tell me what not to do. How is it going to tell me what to do? The way that she writes the book is really to get, my personal opinion, is she's trying to get people to resonate with what they're doing. And so she's saying what not to do first because they are typical behaviors, or I will say traps, that we can fall into, especially if we're in a rut and things aren't going great. They're traps that we can fall into in our mindset and in our behavior. And so when she talks that up front, then she turns it around and saying, here's how you don't display those qualities, think that way, behave that way. So it's pretty good. This is actually, Shonda and I are going to do a book club on this one.
Oh, okay. How about, who are your favorite, jewels to follow or go to for training?
I really like Amy Paul. I like Tara Castaneda. I like Sonia Dudley. Those are Tamara Holloway. Those are probably three of my favorite because they are so pragmatic and down to earth. This is how it is. And they talk about expectations. They are very straightforward in how they teach you or talk to you about talking to potentials and coaching with your team. There's no fluff. They don't color it all pretty. They just tell it like it is. And it resonates with me.
Yeah, I totally agree. You already answered any other questions I had for you because you covered everything so well. So do you mind if we just open it up to see if
No, not at all. I love it.
Okay, let me unmute everyone. And if you guys have any questions, we've got Ryan for just a few more minutes, and then she's got to go Zoom with her own team. She's actually having Amy Paul on for her team tonight. How cool is that? Let's see, one more. Okay, well, dang it, okay. Mary, I can't seem to unmute you. There we go. Okay.
It's because she doesn't want to talk to you, Brandy.
Maybe she's muting it back. Are you muting it? I'm unmuting it and you're muting it. Okay, do you guys have any questions for Ryan? Anyone?
I have a question. So you mentioned, you've gone through the ebb and flows of the business. Is it standard ebb and flows? Like every year there's the same ebb and flow, or is it just the business ebb and flow?
Okay, so my personal opinion is there's two different cycles. There's the cycle of the business that we do see. We see a big rush when we get to convention. We see a downturn a little bit in the summer, and that's just mostly due to our country and people are on travel and they're not thinking about this business. And we see a big spike at the end of the year when people start thinking about resolutions. For a health and wellness business, there's an ebb and flow to the actual products that we sell in the business. I personally believe there is a completely separate ebb and flow for us as individuals. And there are so many variables there with what's going on in our own lives, how we're working our business, how we're thinking about our business, how we're facing our fears, other things we have going on in our life. That then, right, you have the plexus as a business going one wave, and then you have your own going in the other wave. And sometimes they're both up, sometimes they're both down, sometimes they're crossed. And it just, how we deal with all of that personally is what is key in our business. I don't care what the health industry, Plexus as a company, where their flow is. I worry about me. So summer, a lot of people say should be down. I don't look at that. I just look at where I am. How am I working with my potentials? How am I working with my team? Am I proud of what I'm doing? And am I reaching my own goals? And I don't grade myself based on how many people I've signed up or what my PV is. Yes, I need to be thinking about that because I want to grow my business, but my goals are based on my actions. And so I've trained myself to grade myself based on my action. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else?
You made a comment that action does something action, and I didn't write that down.
It was probably that action motivates more action.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah. There's, I get a lot of questions from my own team about how do you motivate people? And I do this in my NASA job too. I am a firm believer that you personally, you can't motivate anyone. Motivation is so individual and self-done. Nobody can motivate me except for me. And the only way that I find to motivate myself is to just take action, no matter how small. And sometimes I have to start really small because I really just don't want to do it.
Well, and I think when you do, if you were to influence someone to be motivated, it's very short-lived.
Yes.
It's more of that, an influence, and not true motivation, because it's just you influencing them to do it for just a very short while. It's not a long-term thing. That type of motivation has to come internally, for sure.
Exactly. You can inspire someone. You can't motivate them. You're exactly right.
But that's why, just like you were saying with the why, it's got to be there. I mean, what else would motivate you to deal with the ups and downs that we see in this business? If that's not there, there's got to be that little amber, burning inside that keeps you going. If it's not there, then why would you do it?
Yep.
Anybody else have questions? I wish I could think of some that the other people might have. You covered so much already. you have any tips as far as anything maybe it would be new to us for like your new customers? You have anything really cool that you do getting them started, or your follow-ups, or something you do with new ambassadors?
Sure. Something that I started doing this summer, and it kind of goes back to what I was telling Mary, is I've been judging myself on my actions and the goals I've set for myself. Probably this summer, maybe earlier this spring, I started a new practice where every single time I have customer or ambassador, I don't care which one, I treat them all the same. I make it an expectation that they do a Zoom with me as soon as they join. And I talk them through what their why is. I expect my customers to have a why. I want to know why they decided to take these products, because as we all know, these products work best with consistency. And sometimes it takes a while for us to reach our health goals, even if we're taking the products every day. And I want to be able to have had that starting conversation with them about their goals, their why, and making sure that we've walked through the instructions for how we want them to start. And so I kind of make it, I don't ask, I just say, this is how we do it.
When can you?
Yes. And so what I've done with my team is I actually make that a 3-way conversation. So anybody on my team who has a new customer or has a new ambassador, I invite them to do a 3-way with whoever my downline is and whoever they sign up.
It's a great idea. Our team really was for a little while in the habit of doing that on a regular basis, but we've kind of gotten away from it in the downtime over the summer and everything. We don't seem to be doing that as much anymore. But if anyone, Kim, I guess this would just be you, that might not already know that, that's always an option to set up a Zoom with. I'm happy to do it. Remind me who your sponsor is. I'm so sorry. I can't remember. Kim.
I'm our sponsor.
Oh, that's
I
right.
was like, right.
Mary might be able to do it with you, or if she's not available, I'm happy to do those anytime, even if that's just for a potential and you think you might not be able to answer their questions. It kind of takes the pressure off of you and puts it on me. Plus you can sit there and be listening in and you're learning at the same time. So everyone else in here knows that, or if anyone's watching the recording that didn't already know that, we are always happy to do that, because it does seem to make a world of difference for people getting started.
I know when I got started, Mary and Sarah have been very encouraging. We have like a message link on Facebook, and it's both of them, and it's like, I run into something, shoot a message, wait for the one of them to respond, just because I don't, I know that I can always count on them to answer me.
Yeah, and that makes all the difference, because you don't feel like you have to just go, there's so much information, tons of resources, which is great, but if you just need a quick answer, it would take you forever to go find it when you say, hey, what is this? What ingredient am I thinking of, or whatever. So anybody else have any questions? Because we need to let Ryan get going and get ready for her own Zoom. Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you. That was fun.
I'm going to
You're up. We're going to pick a date.
Oh, sure. I'd love to. Okay. Well, we'll let you go. And if anyone else needs to stay on and chat with me, I'm sticking around. But if not, then thank you guys for being on. And I appreciate it so much, Ryan.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.